Okay, we're live.
Yes, we are alive, Ayşenur. Shall I start or would you like to start?
Oh, I mean, if you could start with the dua, perhaps.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربي أني مسني الضر وأنت أرحم الراحمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير حسبنا الله لا إله إلا أنت عليك توكلنا وأنت رب العرش العظيم وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Today we'll be continuing our reading and discussion of the sixth word. So in this sixth word so far, we've gone through the analogy that was initially given by the author in the beginning of a king that asks two soldiers to sell back the property he's given to them in a time of war. And the author here so far outlined three profits that we read of selling this property. And importantly, I mean, this sixth word is a discussion of the Quranic verse, in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. Verily, God has purchased from the believers their persons and their property, that paradise might be theirs. So in the last few weeks, we've been trying to read this text in order to understand how to approach and put this verse into action in our own lives and how we can understand it. So just as some general brief recap, last week we talked about how to understand the notion of selling, right? And how to even approach this verse. And because if we approach it literally, it doesn't make much sense, but we have to approach it in a metaphoric manner. And we talked about how to sell one's property or supposed property, for example, my eye or my sense of taste, is to use these given qualities, use these given senses or abilities to know who the giver of these things is, right? To not use it in a way that looks to just temporary pleasure in which I will inevitably lose it, but to use, my eye or my tongue or anything that's really given to me to communicate with the Creator and express the very genuine human need that I have, which is of eternal happiness, right? Eternal enjoyment of whatever that which is given to me, whatever that which has been created for me that I'm experiencing in that moment. I can't create eternal happiness for myself. I can't create or continuate the existence of that which is given, but I can try to look to the source of these abilities, these senses, and ask him for it. And also that, these, when we use our various senses, these are all opportunities as well to question where I got these beautiful senses and human qualities and abilities. So to employ my eye, for example, on his behalf is to look at something on behalf of the creator of the eye, right? And to use it to communicate with him, and confirm that he is the source, that he is the only one that can, in absolute fashion, continue it and grant me the eternality that I really seek, the permanence that I seek in all the things that I enjoy. So again, that's just a brief overview of some of which we've talked about so far. And today, we'll be looking at the fourth profit. Again, profit in the sense of what profit do I gain from giving back or selling it, as I've outlined, that which I'm using, that which has been given back to him, the creator, the source of my sustenance and my existence. So inshallah, I'll read the fourth prophet, and it's very short. I mean, it's just a short paragraph, and then we can try to understand it together. And I look forward to your thoughts and questions and concerns as well, as we try to understand this text within the framework of our own lives, right? Because if we can't make it alive for ourselves, if we can't make it something that speaks directly to whatever we might be going on in our life right now, then it becomes this sort of abstract, distant text. And we want to make it something that is telling us something about ourselves and our own human condition, inshallah. So the fourth prophet: man is helpless and exposed to numerous misfortunes. He is indigent and his needs are numerous. He is weak and the burden of life is most heavy. If he does not rely on the omnipotent one of glory, place his trust in him, and confidently submit to him, his conscience will always be troubled. Fruitless torments, pains, and regrets will suffocate him and intoxicate him, or turn him into a beast. And that's the fourth prophet. So I think we should go slowly, sentence or phrase by phrase even, to truly kind of understand what is going on here. So when it says, the human being is helpless and exposed to numerous misfortunes, that I have to read this in my own narrative, right? And it makes me ask the question of, well, am I helpless? Am I exposed to numerous misfortunes? Am I indigent? Am I completely needy? Are my needs numerous? Am I weak? And is the burden of my life extremely heavy? So I think it's useful to turn these claims, because these are claims that the author is making, into questions that I ask for myself. Can I confirm this? And I think these are, as I ask these to myself, I think it's a good exercise for everyone here to ask it to themselves as well. Are you helpless? Do you feel helpless or exposed to numerous misfortunes? Are your needs endless? Are you weak? And I mean, some, for example, thinking within my own life, there are a lot of things that I feel helpless against, certain obligations that I might have, certain uh, projects that I might have to do in terms of my specific, educational occupation. And I feel very needy in face of them. And even if I'm not always aware of it, I can definitely feel that there are certain burdens in life that I must face. I perceive them as burdens, and I have to somehow try to make sense of them or seek the meaning in them. So you know, in this sort of process of trying to confirm this for myself, I can say, yeah, I mean, this is true. It's true. Even if I'm being at least honest with myself, doesn't mean I have to go around, you know, telling everyone. But if I'm being honest with my own self and my own states of being, I can say, yeah, I have a lot of needs. From the most basic, apparently basic, of like, you know, physical sustenance of drinking water and food just to every single day, to the emotional needs I have, um, psychological needs I have, uh, to more existential, right? Because all of these framed within an existential framework of, um, you know, I'm growing older, and things uh, that I saw to be part of myself, I'm seeing are departing from me, um, like my youth, or even certain abilities. And even if for me right now, sometimes death seems far apart, I know that it's part of my reality. And um, better, even more than that, I experience the death of every moment continuously. uh, and I don't want to experience the death of my moments. You know, if I have a really good day, for example, or I'm really happy and I spent time with, you know, some family or friends, I don't want those moments to disappear. I want to make them somehow eternal. Or even if I ate like a really, really delicious cheesecake, um, you know, the first bite, the 10th bite is never as good as the first bite. I can't preserve, I can't stop, I can't continuate the experiences that I have. There's that immediate transience of everything that I simply can't stop. And and so I, you know, at the core of it all, I want a sense of security and eternal enjoyment in the things that I experience, or a way to ensure that they will not be taken away from me. Um, so that's my approach and understanding to at least these like first two sentences. Feel free to share your own, either by raising your hand or in the chat box. Um, and then he says here, if one does not rely on the omnipotent one of glory, the all-powerful one of glory, place my trust in him and confidently submit to him, my conscience, one's conscience, will always be troubled. Now, what does this mean? you know, why will my conscience be troubled? What does that mean? If I don't rely on him, if I don't place my trust in my creator and submit myself to my creator, my conscience will always be troubled. And this is a question I want to ask everyone, like, how, what do you, how do you understand this, right? This here. Why would my conscience, why would one's conscience always be troubled? Uh, if one does not rely on the creator, and place their trust in him. Any ideas? All right, well, I mean, we can continue thinking about it, but I'm genuinely curious. Uh Hamim, you can go ahead. Brother Ali, do you have your hand up? You're muted.
Okay, now I changed my name, so I'm not Hamim. So I am Ali. Now, this is a very good introduction. Wow, thank you very much. And very good summary of the stream of line of thinking. Excellent. So, first of all, why are we in trouble with our life? I may be rich, and there may be some people taking care of me. So you mentioned that we have lots of problems in this life. I may not be able to overcome all of them, and I need some support. Okay, the state supports, insurance companies supports. The problem is, as I said, he is weak. The Texas is weak, and the burden of life is most heavy. No, burden of life, I understand here. Mainly, whatever I am doing, I may be rich, I may be poor, regardless, I may be ill, I may be healthy. Oh, these are, yes, these are small matters as compared to the, okay, even if I am rich, what does it mean to be rich in this world, and what am I going to do with them? Because the end of the tunnel is absolutely dark. If I am poor, okay, I'm struggling for the moment, and okay, at the end, it will come to an end. What does it mean, really? For me, the most essential problem that human beings are facing is the meaning of whatever we have been given. For example, I have been given all the healthy life, working, all my organs, members of my body are working. But what does it mean at the end? Because as the text says, the conscious, human conscience always says, looks for the meaning of, excuse me, having whatever we have. Whatever the life conditions are, what does it mean for me? Because human conscience always questions that I should do something, I should be doing something, whether it may be a hard work or a light work or not work at all, sleeping in my bed. What does it mean for me? So our human side of our existence always requires to be satisfied in terms of whatever the life conditions I am going through. I need to be satisfied with it. That would make sense to me. That must make sense to me. That's why the text says, if he doesn't rely on the omnipotent one of glory, whoever he is. Now, I wouldn't say, God, the creator. Just a minute. First of all, I need a point of support. I need a point of expectations for my future, which makes my life conditions, living conditions, whatever I am in, meaningful for me. Meaningful for me. How can I do that? How can I gain this? Because, as you said, myself and anything in the universe cannot bring meaning to my life conditions, living conditions. I say, oh, I'm like this, and because we have to think of the case in order to understand how important it is in black and white analogy. Black and white. Either I know I have been given existence, and the one who gave me the existence must be the omnipotent one of glory. It means absolutely all-powerful one, omnipotent one, and he's able to do everything so that I can rely on it. Otherwise, if I didn't have this, even I may be a religious man, but doesn't bear this understanding in my mind, that moment, I feel completely weak. My life is so feeble, and I suffer from whatever it is. Maybe poverty I suffer from, maybe illness I suffer from, or health or richness. How? Because yes, I am rich now and I can buy anything. I can employ anybody to do whatever I want to do and help me. But still, meaninglessness is the most unbearable thing. If there was no absolute thing that I can rely on him or on it, the life will become completely pointless. That's why human conscience will be in trouble. Look, fruitless torments is said, pains is said, regret, the text says, regrets will suffocate him. Why? Not necessarily that I'm not in torment now as far as the physical conditions of my life is concerned. I'm comfortable, I'm not ill, and I'm not really in need of anything. Maybe, I may not be. So why I should feel torments? And these torments are fruitless. What does it mean? There is no purpose. There is no end. There is no end result. Fruit means end result. I'm doing this because I'm going to gain this. But at the end of my life, in the end of my life, I am going to gain death, complete separation, infinite separation of my whatever the life conditions I have. I think that's why it becomes intoxicant for me. Everything, if I don't really have a vision of the source of my existence, who is the omnipotent one. And he brought me into this life, and he is going to take care of my life because he is the one who brought me. He is the one who put me in this living experiences. He is the one who put me in this. So I am going to go through these living experiences and try to connect everything, every life conditions that I have been given to him. He is providing all this for me. Poverty is from him, because for me it is the poverty, but the universe is mine. But I may think of that I don't have a pair of shoes to wear. I may feel poor, but the universe is mine. So if I don't have the omnipotent one, of course I will be left with nothing, and also I don't have a pair of shoes either. That is why we have to make the case in black and white terms in order to understand how we should use our feelings in order to find out the omnipotent, absolute creator. So rely on him, relate my life to his power, his knowledge, his mercy, his justice, everything to him. That makes my life really perfectly understandable and bearable. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's really helpful for me. And you know, as you said, the constant factor throughout my life, regardless of the specifics of my life conditions, is the need for meaning. Um, and if I can't extract meaning from anything, from my experiences, from the troubles I may face, from even the joys that I may come to experience, then as the text says, um, I feel troubled. I don't feel at ease. Um, and this I think clarifies a bit the next sentence where it says, fruitless torments, pains, and regrets will suffocate him and intoxicate him or turn him into a beast. And I take this to mean that um, fruitless torments, right? I mean, there's no, the fruit of something is usually, there isn't going to be anything, any profit from it, any uh, meaning that I can take away or come to see or realize within any of my experiences. And um, and if I approach things without meaning, so if I approach like it said in the third prophet, um, my power of sight, my eyes, um, the ability to taste, without looking to the creator, without using them as a means to communicate with their source, without using them as a means to ask for eternality in that which I enjoy, then I turn into a form of beast where um, I don't utilize that which is given to me uh, in a way that is meaningful, in a way that looks beyond just the moment that um, I'm in. Um, we have a question in the comments, or a comment. Ty Simmons, would you like to read out your comment and maybe elaborate further?
I can read it. And this just came across my mind as Dr. Ali was just talking. So sometimes thoughts just come into my head. So, anywho, um, it says, I'm a believer. I've always been, like, I've always believed in God since I was like little, before I even like knew. My family wasn't very religious. They were like Christians. We only went to church like on Easter. So I didn't really have that as a foundation or whatever. I just always had a belief. But as Dr. Ali was speaking, I was wondering, does okay, I said I've always been a believer, but this makes me wonder, am I believing because it's real, or am I believing because I need to believe it in order to find ease and peace in my existence? And does either does either way of thinking lessen my faith, is what I'm wondering. I don't have like a clear answer, but it's just something that came to my head that scared me a little bit.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I think we should use this platform to share uh, the concerns that we have that arise in us. So thank you. I guess, and others can respond to this. I guess my initial response would be that um, I would question, why is it that I have the need to experience ease and peace? Like, what is the source of existence of the need for ease and peace to begin with? So oftentimes, um, belief in a creator, um, belief in anything that is to do with religion in general, uh, is portrayed as wish fulfillment. So people who believe in a creator just believe in him because they need a sense of security and comfort, and then they're trying to make sense of their existence, and it's just wishful thinking, if you will. But this ignores the underlying question, which is, well, I find myself existing in this world, and I have the need to feel eternal security. I have the need to feel eternal happiness. I want to feel comfortable and secure and peaceful in my very current state. Why do I have this need? What is the source of existence of this need? So I think it comes down to questioning the existence of the feelings, of the needs that I have. You know, um, what can be the source of these needs? And I would say that whomever has given me the need to find ease and peace and satisfaction must also be the one to grant it. So again, I just want to emphasize that I think it's really about questioning the source of existence of the feelings, the needs that I have to begin with. I can't ignore those, and those usually the needs themselves point to their own cure, point to their own. The questions themselves have the answers within them. So that's, and these are, I relate a lot to what you wrote and what you shared with us, because these are also thoughts and feelings that I've had as well. I think it's very human. But I also think that really what's so crucial, and I guess this is why we also emphasize it so much in these discussions, is questioning the source of existence of anything. And this means not just things that, not just the source of existence of my eyes or my tongue or this cat or this window, but also everything that I'm undergoing within myself. How are they coming into being? And what or who is creating them within me? So thank you for sharing. If anyone else has any other comment that they'd like to make, please feel free to. I'll give it a moment. Okay. Yes. Would someone like to say something?
Hey, Salams, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, Salams. Sorry, just piggybacking on what you just said. My name is Tolu, by the way. So often, like the response to the suggestion of why do I have this need to feel calm is often explained away by evolution. Like we have evolved to, like, if we didn't need to, like, the idea of us feeling calm has helped us, like, evolution is the answer to, like, that needing of feeling calm. And that's where I often get stuck, is I often get stuck with the idea of, well, maybe, like, the reason why we have this need to feel settled or need to feel at peace is more based off, like, evolution than it is based off anything else. And yeah, I was curious what your thought is with regards to, like, that explanation that is often kind of given to us, that we like, the need to feel calm is there because of evolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Tolu. So let me just rephrase Tolu's question, and then those who may want to respond can respond. So from what I understand, Tolu's asking, one response that we hear in society is that if you have the need to feel good or feel calm, as you said, or feel secure, this is because of a process, an evolutionary process, and that is why you have these certain feelings or needs. And that's usually given as one form of explaining why one feels a certain way. Would anyone like to respond to this or share their thoughts? And thank you, Tolu. Again, I think we should try to share our concerns and, the problems and questions that are with us. Brother Ali, please go ahead.
If no one is going to say anything, I think we have to communicate. So I'm just filling in the gaps. I think the fundamental question is to define human beings in terms of the body side and the, if you like, the emotional side or feeling side, which is called spiritual side of human beings. Now, the spiritual side, it means emotional side of human beings, cannot be the result of the body side of human beings. we are learning. Everybody has the ability to learn from scratch. Every baby is born. Even a baby is not learning anything from the society. It is our inner need or expectations that I question this. Even the very, very young children, they ask why is it that? If you say anything, they say, why should I do it? Or why am I not allowed to do it? Or what does it mean? Where do you get this from? They question. It means either the questioning in the human needs, not necessarily body needs. Body needs, as the text says, every beast has the same needs. But what makes us human beings? To question, to be curious, to look for meaning for everything, whatever it is. Even the child, without being taught anything from the family, you notice that at the age of 2, 3, the most question they ask is why. It means now everybody has different concerns. We are not prototype monolithic beings. Everybody has different concerns. Everybody looks for the meaning of his or her concerns. So human spirit requires such things that don't exist in the universe, don't exist in the matter. Matter is just dead. It means no life in matter itself. There is no senses in matter. How can the matter can be the source of existence of these human qualities? Even animal side, animals have some sort of animal qualities, feelings. Do you think animals, for example, a cat, learns from the society how to catch the mice? Do you think animals, for example, a spider, can learn how to make the web and get the best possible place to get its prey? Is it learned from the society? And why don't they develop? They are perfect in their life conditions. Every creature, millions of different living creatures are perfect in their life conditions. They don't really learn from anything from anywhere. The human beings are given the ability to improve, to develop them by using their free will to question further, investigate further, find out more conclusions for himself, herself, further ahead, and then come to a conclusion and explain the meaning of their life. That is the confusion. If you ask those people who believe in evolution, they don't believe in anything else than matter. So matter doesn't have any of these human qualities, especially asking for eternal happiness. For matter, for my particles in my body, will cause me to develop these ideas? Or am I given something different from material construction of my being? Or animals or plants? Do you think is there any way for a human being to understand that this plant has learned how to grow, for example, figs in its DNA or whatever the living structure in it? Do you think it developed how to grow into a tree and then make the flower and then leaves and communicate with the air and then make figs? How does it learn it from the effect of the society, or they call it natural environment? We have to understand that universe consists of matter, but at the same time, some qualities which pertaining to every kind of being according to their own capacity, which is assigned. No one can say that the things developed by themselves, 6 billion creatures, living creatures, 6 million. They say 6 million living creatures lived and has been living on the earth, developed their own living conditions perfectly fitting within their own lives, and they are happy with it. I cannot imagine that the mouse will become a human being 1 billion years later or 10 billion years later, because there is no sign in the matter which will develop that. Although this point should not be neglected at all. Whatever the DNA is made up of is subject to the order of the universe, and the order of the universe never changes. Order of the universe never changes. Don't confuse climate change, but this is the order of the universe. And plants grow, this is the order of the universe. And we need to question what the source of existence of this order of the universe, which is perfectly working in harmony with each other, in connection with each other, and every creature has its own given life conditions. Given life conditions. I can never ever imagine that an orange tree is learning it from the environment, how to grow an orange. How can the human beings will be the result of social developments and develop an idea that we need eternal happiness? It is with me. And I need satisfaction within myself. It is within me. I want meaning, and the matter cannot be the source of meaning at all. I question the meaning in the existence of everything, in the existence of all my life conditions. So there is a complete contradiction, if you like, between materialist worldview explaining everything in terms of matter, trying to explain everything in terms of matter, mostly based on speculations. Maybe like this. Well, you can say everything as far as you are open. If you are open to speculate, the interpretation of the things billions of years ago happened. You can interpret everything, so that you can get the result saying that I don't believe in religion, in God, but the same person wants to be happy. Where did you get the sense of happiness? Where did you get the desire to sense of happiness? Did your mother teach you? That's why you like. And my mother never had any education at all, never taught me anything. Why do I want meaning and happiness for my life? Where did I get it? Okay, thank you very much. I think that is what I can say. This beautiful question, very practical question. Of course, people claim everything, but turn to yourself and ask whether this concern, this matter really makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. if we don't have other questions or comments, again, I'll pause for a moment. I think we can turn to the fifth prophet. So, okay, so everyone cool with that? All right. So the fifth prophet. Those who have experienced illumination and had unveiled to them the true nature of things, the elect who have witnessed the truth, are all agreed that the exalted reward for all the worship and glorification of God performed by your members and instruments will be given to you at the time of greatest need in the form of the fruits of paradise. So let me read that again. Those who have experienced illumination and had unveiled to them the true nature of things, the elect who have witnessed the truth, are all agreed that the exalted reward for all the worship and glorification of God performed by your members and instruments will be given to you at the time of greatest need in the form of the fruits of paradise. All right. So, I mean, I can't. I'm trying to understand this. Now I can't say much about, you know, these people that he's describing, those who have experienced illumination or who know the true nature of things, who have witnessed the truth. But from my own experience, at least, I can say that when I am in acknowledgement of my source, when I am able to read the meaningful, read the meaning in things, and again, in the definition that we explained earlier today, be able to sell my qualities to their owner, to their true owner, I am given this sort of sense of security that, okay, whoever is granting me the ability to taste right now will also give me the same sense of enjoyment for eternity, will make it everlasting for me. So in that process of communicating with the creator, being able to turn to the creator of that which I'm interacting with, then a sense of security and happiness is there, right? And I can experience paradise in that very moment because I'm not I'm, if you will, in the hands of the one who is creating everything, is creating me, is creating my experiences, is creating my joys. And I can know that he will be able to continue giving me that sense of happiness. And I would say, you know, even understanding what does it mean to understand or to know, to witness the truth or to understand the true nature of things. Well, I think within my own terms, it would be to understand that I am not just interacting. Let's say if I, all right, if classic example, right? If I look at a really cute kitten and I feel a sense of affection and love towards it, and maybe it's purring and doing some cute things instead of say scratching me, then there's not, you know, at first I'm experiencing the cuteness of a created being, and then I'm also experiencing the relationship that I have with it, the ability to have a sense of like or dislike towards it. And if I approach it as just a piece of, you know, as just that, then once the cat goes away or it dies one day, you know, that love and affection is also kind of disrupted, or I experience the death of that experience. But if I acknowledge that that love is being given to me, and the sense of love or compassion is being given to me and is being created for me, then I know that the source of it is one that must be absolute, right? One that will also continue granting it to me in some form. I mean, that's not an ideal example. I'm not sure if I was able to communicate what I wanted to. Farah, you can please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. My voice is fine, just making sure. Yes.
Walaikum salam. Yes.
Okay, great. I'm also going to take this opportunity to think out loud a little bit. So in thinking about this one and the discussion thus far, and the concept of selling, or as we've been discussing it, so I've been thinking about it in these terms. For example, we first established that whatever that we are hoping to sell in this trade has to belong to us. And there was a discussion around it about what is it exactly that we actually have claim over. And I feel like something like this, at least for me, has only been made clear when I am thinking about in existential terms, and as we've discussed, in terms of meaning. So once one is on their own or can close their eyes and think about, okay, what is it that I really am? And what is it that I can really say I feel certain about in both my mind and my experience? And I'm in thinking about this word also, illumination, and you know, the true nature of things. It points again into the direction of like, what is it that I can be certain about in my experience? And so in our own lives, if we take some time to contemplate, it at least appears to me that what I am certain about, that is mine, that I can hold claim over, is my sort of my impotency, or my sense of need, or my sense of constant need and dependency. I say that because in any given moment, that is what I always confirm. Everything else, whether it's material or immaterial, even if it is some sort of feeling of satisfaction, I struggle to confirm it on a constant basis. But what I am able to confirm on a constant basis, that is always there, even in times of perceived or like feeling of contentment and happiness, is this state of neediness. I can always need something else or need something more. And so, and perhaps there is some more effort involved on my part to make this a little bit more coherent and reasonable. But if I have established to a certain degree of certainty that I'm always in need and I'm always impotent, then I can lay some sort of claim over it. And if I can lay a claim over this state, then I have the right to sell it in that terms. And we sell it in terms of asking for fulfillment for it. So the process, and I think we discussed it in one of the previous sessions, and I like this idea that the selling is the process in which I want a fulfillment or an answer in response to my needs. And in connecting this with what we, this particular part of the fifth prophet, that it's a realization of the true nature of things, which I talked in terms of establishing some sort of certainty of who I am, which is a being constantly in need, and a certainty or some sort of confirmation or a need, some sort of action or urge to solve for it, which is to ask or connect this with the one who can fulfill this. And I guess I'm reading this last time, you at the time of greatest, in the form of the fruits of paradise. And so the result of this process of selling what you actually own and gaining and knowing that the only way or the only one to quote unquote sell it is the one who can fulfill this need, that should result in sort of both a logical and experiential sort of confirmation. You logically conclude that the only one who can fulfill this is the one who gave me this and who is the one who has the power to do so. And in one's experience, I guess, is to every one of us to apply or experience this in our life. And I think just this idea that I have found, or I know, or I acknowledge the right being for this trade confirms for me a sense of satisfaction and contentment. And we can discuss what, how this may connect with the definition of paradise, but just even theoretically knowing that this is that there is just one way to go about this gives me a sense of ease. So that's my disjointed thoughts.
Thanks so much, Farah. That's really helpful for me as well. And I guess one point that you made that I kind of want to share again is, you said that which I can be certain about or actually lay claim to is my sense of constant need, right? Like my reality as a continuously needy being. And I can definitely confirm that, and I think that's true. It just also made me think that the one thing that I can lay claim to is also that which is a lacking, because a need is a lack of something, right? So even the thing that I feel I can lay claim over is something that is, by its very nature, how to phrase it, something that is not like a positive net worth, but a negative net worth, if you will. So thank you for those for sharing your thoughts, and I welcome others as well to think out loud and brainstorm here with us together, because it's a really helpful process for me as well in trying to understand this text.
Hey, so sorry.
Yeah, please.
Sorry, I'm calling from my phone, so I can't put my hand up. I apologize. I really liked, but I really appreciated Farah's what Farah shared. That really resonated with me. Kind of knowing kind of the idea of what I have ownership over really only is my sense of need. And I think it really resonated with me because, you know, because I think like in like, you know, as I'm a young person, it's easy to forget that need. You know, I mean, there's definite reminders that, you know, I have often in my day to day, but it's also easy to forget. You know, I think as one age, it gets older and like maybe has like less physical physical power or whatever. Like the reminder is more often. But I think as a currently young person, it's easy to forget that need. But I do resonate with that. But the question I had was, okay, so like let's say someone is able to recognize this like sense of constant being in need of something, and someone like is able to accept the truth in that, because I think it's easy to like try and like lie to yourself that, you know, that you can actually do things by yourself. Let's say someone has gotten to the place where they're like, you know what, I'm constantly in need, and that is like my reality. There's always just something that I always like need, whatever that is that need is there. Then what do you do with that once you recognize that need? Where do you go from there? What's the next step? Thanks.
Okay, let me, first of all, yeah, please, just as you are doing right now, feel free to interrupt at any point. So I just want to make sure I got your question right. Are you saying that what is the next step after one recognizes that they are in a continuous state of need? Is that what you're asking? Can you clarify that?
Yeah. So like, okay, you've concluded, you've accepted that you are constantly in need. Okay, fine. What do you do with that? Like, where do you take that need to? Like what is the next step in the process once one has kind of acknowledged that constantly being in need? Because like, okay, I've acknowledged that I'm in need. So then what do I do with that? How do I get the thing I'm in need of?
Okay, yeah, thank you. I mean, I can try to share some initial thoughts, and then anyone else can please feel free to jump in. I think the first step, as I guess is always emphasized in these classes, is questioning when I'm face to face with something. In this case, it's a need. I have to question its source of existence, right? What is the source of existence of this need? Why is it and how is it that I have these needs? I find myself with these needs, right? I'm born, I grow up, and I somehow, you know, I'm able to reflect and grow more conscious of my own existence, and I find this ability in myself to be able to realize that I have needs, and then what? You know, I didn't create these needs. I didn't ask for these needs, but I find them within me regardless. I find that within, you know, my state of being, the nature of my existence, the nature of my human condition is so embedded with these human needs that I have. And I would, you know, again, my impulse is to say, well, first I have to question what or who is the source of these needs. And you know, if I can conclude that the source of existence of this universe, of my very existence, of everything around me, including everything that I carry within me, looks to an absolute source that is not of the nature of this universe, then I can also conclude that whoever created me, whoever gave me existence, is also the one giving existence to the way in which I experience life, to the way in which my human condition is. And I see that these needs I have become opportunities for me to search for him, for me to investigate my reality, for me to seek answers, right? For me to seek a satisfaction, a fulfillment of these needs. So they are constantly almost signposts, if you will, towards their source. And I would say that, you know, whoever the absolute source who creates these needs must also then be the one to fulfill them. And so I would say that in acknowledging that these needs are given by an absolute source, I'm also given the remedy for them by virtue of knowing that they will be in an absolute fashion, in an eternal fashion, fulfilled and satisfied, that I won't be orphaned in this world, that I won't be orphaned in my human condition, right? That my existence, that my needs are secure. But Farah, please feel free to jump in.
Thank you, Tolu, for the discussions, and agreeing with everything that Aishanu just said. I don't think I have anything to add to her particular comment. But I also, on the other sort of aspect, I would say to this comment that, you know, maybe why not just sort of stay within this feeling? You know, why be so, I understand that the logical next step would be to connect it to the one who can fulfill it, look towards the source of this need, see what it leads you towards. But if this could be a more personal sort of like challenge and, intention, why not just dwell in this feeling or realization and feeling of being in need and completely immerse oneself in it, stay in it, strengthen this as an identity. So, you know, just so that this becomes a reality without, beyond doubt or without doubt. And I feel like in this strengthening of, you know, making oneself realize their needs on a constant basis, it is certain within this realization, there is certain to be an answer. But from our perspective, I think we have a lot of perhaps the most power or control or free will in strengthening this as an identity. And as Tolu was mentioning, I agree with him in the sense that as perhaps younger people, and especially in maybe an American lifestyle where things are so predictable and so accessible for many people, especially, you know, let's say if I talk in my own cohort of people, that we kind of assume everything on a conveyor belt is just happening. And if there is a question of need, it is usually a material one. And so the exercise of engaging with our existential needs is becoming more and more challenging on a daily basis. So I would sort of put a like another point of view of saying, you know, maybe the next step to realizing this need or having realized this need is to strengthen this and make it a part of our identity, just as, you know, we have an urge to drink water without thinking about it consciously too much. This should also be trained to become part of who we are. And I think it's also a deliberate, constant effort. And the solution or the next step is within this exercise of dwelling in it or staying in it.
Sorry, I'm just going to jump in real quick. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I completely thank you, Farah. I think that idea of strengthening it is a really powerful idea because it's one that's easy to forget, especially in the culture that we live in today. Thank you.
I was going to bring up the point of how we're constantly we're told not to worry about our problems or sort of those needs and to focus on Allah. like we're always told a lot is bigger than our problems. So for me, what I think is, rather than focusing on the needs themselves, it's about focusing on the source of those needs. So just to tie it back to where we are in the fifth prophet, and experiencing that illumination, we sort of have to not really like focus on the that particular need itself, but the, like I said, the source. So if we're reflecting on what is we're seeking like some sort of revelation about that whatever we're particularly going on, what's particularly going on in the moment. And I think your focus, if you do that, your focus will change from the need themselves and back to the creator, back to the source of those needs. And then I think from there, you'll find that fulfillment that you're looking for. And that's where when they're talking about the fruits of paradise, I think that's where you get that peace. You get the peace from the illumination of whatever has been revealed to you. So if you have a problem and then you're not really focusing on that, and you're sort of sitting back and trying to reflect on what that situation is sort of trying to tell you, the revelation in that will bring you um, the paradise you're seeking. And then that in turn will will meet that need beyond your wildest imagination. It's kind of like a circle I'm sort of seeing, I think, and I hope it's clear. So I'm thinking that not focusing on the need, focusing on the source. The source will, once you focus on the source and you're really reflecting, you're really taking time to sort of just look at the bigger meaning around things, you will be illuminated, and things will be revealed to you in a way that they hadn't before. And you won't be focused on that need, and because you're not focused on that at that, and you're focused on the source, that need will be met in a way that you can't even imagine. And I think that's what they're trying to say in this in that verse is I think about in Monday's lesson with Dr. Ali, like something that he was talking about was how even the smallest cell has a purpose. And for me, that was like a big epiphany, and it made me go, oh my God, if something that small has purpose, then of course I have purpose. So I guess my need in that moment might have been, wondering, do I have purpose in life? How, why was I created, or whatever. But in that revelation, in that, in thinking about that, I was able to, get something bigger, and that need was met through that way. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling. Sorry.
Yes, thank you, everyone. I think this is a great conversation, um, and I'm really pleased that everyone feels comfortable and sharing their thoughts. Please continue to do so. Yeah, I think I'll just say like one final comment, I guess, on this, if no one has anything further to say, and then we can look back into text again. Is that my needs become a sort of gateway to my creator, right? They become the vehicle that take me to him. And so there's this sort of relationship between the needs that I experience and me looking to my creator that I can't necessarily tear apart. So I definitely understand what Sister Taya was saying, and thank you so much for beautifully sharing your thoughts. And I also just think that sometimes reflecting on that need further and further, perhaps as Farah was saying, becoming secure in it is also a means of continuous reflection on its source, right? One can't separate the creation from the creator. All right. So before I continue, I saw that someone had a question. Saida, you had a question saying, what is the intermediate realm? Did you see that in the text somewhere that you wanted to point out? Or do you want to elaborate? It was in the first point. Are you talking about the first prophet from before? Okay. So, I mean, I'm not sure if we can go back right there, but I would just say, I mean, real quick, my quick understanding of the intermediate realm is the point the point in which I recognize that I don't belong to this world, that I'm departing, that every moment is dying, right? But that's just so the recognition that I'll be at a point where I depart this world. That's my quick answer, but I see a hand. Brother Lee, please go ahead.
Thank you for a really illuminating discussion is going on here. I wanted to add one thing that I wanted to emphasize on it, which also ties up to the text that we are studying under discussion now, the fifth prophet. Of course, we have to define what our needs are. The most fundamental need of human beings is existential anxiety. What does it mean? Existential anxiety for everything that I am concerned with, everything that I have been given. First of all, I found myself existing. The most striking side of my existence is, how come I exist? How come I am conscious of my existence? How come this consciousness questions why do I exist, how I existed, and what is the purpose in my existence? Of course, the most important of all these questions is, what is the meaning of existing? All these questions are innate in human nature. Everybody, whether they realize it or not, they pay attention to it or not, it is there, but some people, they take it very lightly. Some people take it seriously. Of course, it is within our potentiality to take it very seriously, but I prefer not to. It means ignore it. Even I ignore it, if I choose to ignore it, it is still there. If someone reminds me, what's the purpose of doing all this? I will say, yeah, we have to do it, don't we? That's very simple. But at the end, what are you going to? So this existential anxiety means for everything I have been given. For example, I have my hands, as everybody has it. And I am afraid of losing them. Why? Because I cannot continue my life without it. How come that I am given existence with the need of having it, and it is there? I cannot really attribute it to an accidental development that, however it happens, then I developed my hand, or my hands have been developed throughout the ages, and now I happen to have it, and it fits my being. No, every 6 million living species developed in their limbs in the perfect way, so they are happy with it. So we have to be concerned with questioning the security of this existence, our existence, so that we need to overcome. I think the most essential need is to overcome this anxiety of losing, anxiety of getting less valued. No, I don't think it is the right way of saying it. For example, I am able to use my hands, but if I am, which is I'm getting older and older, so I can not use it anymore. It means the capacity to use it is listening. And I am frightened of it. I don't want it, but it is my reality. That's how I am created. The purpose is asking the creator of the universe and the order of the universe, and therefore my creator, the creator of my hand, is asking me, because he has given me the consciousness to be aware of it, asking me, where did you get this hand? Why are you having it? And how can you secure it so that you will get out of this anxiety that you don't want to lose it, but you are bound to lose it? That is a call for me to question the source of it and try to find out it. That's why we have to sell our hands back to its real owner, which means I have to use my hands in order to understand the one who gave it to me, so that I will understand that my hands do not belong to me. They are given to me, and my hand, through all the things I do with my hands, I have to use my hands in order to remember how valuable, how precious gift that I have been given, and the one who gives it to me, who gave it to me, is the one, only the one who can secure it for me. If this one, the one who gave me, is an absolute being, otherwise nothing can keep my hand and secure it for me. This realization and using the hands in order to appreciate the one who gave it to me is called in the text the worship and the glorification of the Creator. That is why I really like the Taya's comment that through the needs, concentrating on the needs, we go through the passage of this reasoning and being satisfied, and then coming to the conclusion that my hands have a creator, have an owner who must be the absolute one, who is creating it out of nothing. It means I am given this quality of consciousness and being able to appreciate the value of my hands, so that I am expected to do something with this consciousness, with this awareness, so that I will be overcoming, I will get rid of this anxiety for me, anxiety of the existence of my hands, existence of my brain, existence of my memory, existence of my feelings, for example, the feeling of taste, feeling of hearing, the need for hearing, seeing, all the other feelings of love, feeling of fear, feeling of pain, feeling of joy, all of them, with no exception. So through this, using all these instruments which are given to me in order to understand who the owner of all these, then I will, if I realize this, if I don't turn ignorant of it or choose not to think about it, never let anybody remind me death, never let anybody remind me more my old age until I die. After I die, say, oh, he was really old. But before I die, everybody tells me that, no, you are young, still middle age, don't worry. But this is cheating. So I have to get satisfaction out of realizing that the source of existence, all these qualities. But how can I know the source of existence of all these qualities? I have to question how I hit them, how wonderful they are working. Is it possible that the things independently act by themselves and consciously for me in the best form? As again, Taya said, I need the creator to tell me, to speak to me, to explain to me why he has given all these life conditions so that I will be sure of my conclusion that there is a meaning in my existence. There is a purpose in my existence. And I have to acknowledge this reality, and also I need to hear this acknowledgement is really correct through the speech of my creator, so that I will say, you created me with this need, and the universe doesn't answer my questions. So please, you have to explain to me, and I have to look for it. I can find it. This is the way of developing a worshipful attitude. It means acknowledging who the owner is, and then, of course, the fruits of paradise, as Taya said again, the fruits of paradise does not necessarily mean, although it is not excluded, in the next creation, there must be some creation, otherwise this life would be meaningless. But at least in this world, I have to realize the pleasant experience of existence, such as like paradise. It means, yeah, I am in the hands, I am in the protection of my creator, who is the omnipotent one, who is really the one, only the one I can seek refuge with him. That is only my source of hope. Nothing else can be my source of hope, although my hope is real as far as my existence is concerned. I need this hope, this wish to be answered. That's why how I am created with the need of answer to this hope, because I got it. I don't know. I am given this hope, this wish that my life will be meaningful, eternally satisfied. I will be eternally satisfied with my existence. This is how I am made. Whoever made it to me must provide it. Thank you very much. Sorry, I spoke a lot again.
Thank you so much for all of those lovely thoughts that you shared. They were really helpful for me. I hope they were helpful for everyone else as well. So we are at the end of our time. So thank you everyone for joining, for listening, for actively participating. Inshallah, next week we can continue reading further in this fifth prophet. And we can end that here today. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم everyone.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you so much.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Inshallah, I'll see you on Monday, inshallah. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله. وعليكم السلام. السلام عليكم حبيب.
Alaikum salam.
Pray for me, please.
What was that?
Please pray for me, inshallah.
Inshallah. I always do that. Alhamdulillah.
Jazakumullah.
Alhamdulillah.
Give my salams to Tahira as well.
Inshallah. Ameen.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.